my kinfolk that I'm a legend. Only blowing big smoke with all of my brethren. Oh baby, she an info, she came to my section. The way she move that body, oh my God, it's a blessing. Come on, let's go, we on the road. It ain't no need to fight.
What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to the Loft 313. I'm your host, Felix, a.k.a. Felix the Don, a.k.a. Top 2 and Not 2. Today, we got a special episode for y'all. We got some real special guests from Legasea, Cannabis. We're here at the aquarium hanging out. And without further ado, let's introduce our guests. We got Jay, Steve, and Steve with us today, man. How y'all doing?
Good. Doing good.
All right, man. Well, we're going to jump right into it. I'm just going to get into the questions. We're going to get to know y'all a little bit better today, get to know about the brand a little bit better. We see you got the merch on, you know, all the different colors looking good, looking spiffy. So, Jay, we're going to start with you, man. Tell us, who you are, what do you do, where you from?
All right, yeah, so my name is Jay Tingle, and I actually work the reptile side of Legasea. So I work at the aquarium, and we have another place called the Reptarium that's open right now. Right now we have a 5,000 square foot building, and we're in the process of building a 30,000 square foot aquarium. I've worked with reptiles my whole life, so honestly it's a very rewarding experience, you know, just to be able to be around everything, and now seeing what we're doing and seeing how large we're about to be. It's amazing.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. Steve, we're going to move on to you. You know, tell the people who you are, you know, where you from, what you do.
My name is Steve Bashi. I'm, I guess what you call a serial entrepreneur. I own Ultimate Aquariums, Bashi Aquatic, Detroit Reef Club, and partners with my man Kado at Legasea Cannabis, and partners with Lori at Legasea Aquarium. Born in Michigan, still here. Been doing aquariums my entire life. It's just that's just what I do, and now taking it to a different level with Legasea Aquarium, and partnering up with Kado, obviously taking it to a whole different genre.
Hell yeah, man. All right, Kado, we coming down to you. Tell the people who you are, where you from, what do you do?
My name's Steve Kado. I'm from Michigan, and I came from the caregiver market. So we started from the heydays of the industry, and then we transitioned into the stateside. I've been in the industry for close to 15 years now. So we took everything that we learned from that side of the industry, we transitioned into the stateside, and we built many cultivation sites, and we started producing some great weed, and now here we are today. We started the brand, and we're getting the ball moving on it now. This is actually the first brand that I started. I was always selling bulk at the end of the day, but like I said, we come from the heydays of the industry. So, here we are today. Now we finally got the brand moving, and we partnered up to get to get everything moving the solid way. So,
hell yeah, man, that's what's up. Yeah, y'all brand has been interesting to me. I remember when I was over at Live Detroit, we had some reps come through. We talked about, what y'all stood for and what y'all were trying to do with the brand. This was like 2 years ago. You're still kind of figuring it out. Yep. And, just to see where y'all have come from just that day to now is super dope, man. And I'm glad we've been partnering on, different projects through Live and through my music and now the podcast. So this has been a dope experience to be a part of, in a way. So we don't want to do all business. We try to get a little personal on the show too. So what was your first job, Jay? What was the first job you ever had? You remember?
Dang, my first job was a little ice cream stand down in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I was 14. First job.
Yeah, okay. Steve, what was your first job?
I guess the first would be maybe a paper route. I had a paper route when I was like 13, and I was crushing it. Nobody delivered newspapers like me.
Bro, they used to drop us. I don't know what your paper route was like, but I did this shit with my uncle. We was in a van, and they would just drop you off on a block with a bunch of papers, and they
see at the end.
Meet back.
I think mine was really old school. We held all the papers on us with our thing, so we had like 50 pounds of papers, and we'd walk house to house.
Oh man,
it was brutal. But that's probably a little bit older than you. So.
Steve, what was your first job?
My first job, I was working my friend's liquor store. That was the first job that I got involved with. And yeah, just running. That's our background, right? So we were running liquer stores back in the day.
That's a cultural thing.
It's a culture thing.
You niggas own all the liquor stores.
That's where we started, and that's where it was at. That's the truth. So
that's what's up, though. I feel it's got to be a lot of money in that shit, because I feel like there's
damn stereotype. Shit is so true.
You said it. You said it.
So true. How many you got now? You know what I mean?
All right, so let's talk a little bit about and I know this one's gonna be probably a deeper question, so we could take our time and move through it, but I wanna talk about the origin of the brand, and not just the cannabis side, but the aquarium side too. So let's start there. How did it get started, and tell us, about the growth of the brand? Yeah, I know it's, I know this.
I think
I probably,
you go like the
Right.
furthest back.
I mean, I'll start just a small
Gotcha.
intro.
Right.
We've always talked about doing something.
Yeah,
in the industry.
from us meeting is,
From
yeah.
our meetings, like me and Steve always said that we wanted to do something in the cannabis space.
But we
And-
started with an aquarium project is how we met.
And we
Yeah.
started with an aquarium project. That's how we met and got into this. And, that's how we got together.
Right.
As far as how the brand came to life, Steve, I'll let you jump in on that one because.
Ooh, it's a tough
Yeah.
one. I mean, I've been friends with Brian since I was like 12 years old, so me and Brian Barczyk could go back, way back. He was just a manager at a fish store, and I was just a fish dork. And I would just go to the fish store and we'd hang out. He's like 16, 17 years old. And back then, when you're 12 and somebody's 16, that's like, you're older than shit, you know what I mean? You look up to him. So, and he was just started breeding snakes, and that was just my obsession with fish was from birth. So we kind of split our ways, and we'd kind of interact here or there at trade shows. He built up his brand ginormous, and I did what I did and here now. And then we've talked probably the last 10 years about doing a collaboration of reptiles and aquarium type thing. Always just talked about it. And then it came to fruition of, like a few years ago, and he came up to me, he said, here's what I'm doing. I'm thinking about doing this aquarium. And I said, he wanted me to basically design it, and I'll do all that stuff. And I said, sure, no problem. We started building everything out. Then I just became partners in it, type of thing, which is just two dreams kind of coming together, just collaborating at once. And then the unfortunate part during this process, Brian was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So we just kind of, that was kind of a big punch in the face for everything, So we just stopped everything, and we were gonna stop the whole project, just forget it, and then we just figured let's just continue, and so he has something to leave just in case things went wrong for his family and all that kind of stuff, and then at that point, I'm cutting a lot of stuff out, but at that point, I've been friends with Kado for 5-6 years. Me and him were probably just bullshitting one night, and I was just probably telling him, maybe venting.
Well, you came down.
I came down
to the shop.
Yeah.
So I was in tune with the project from day one.
Yeah.
I saw the blueprints. I was at his house. I saw when he had the little.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I knew about the project from day one.
Right.
So
it was exciting.
One of the coolest things. It was exciting. That was one of the things that I was like, wow. Like this is going to be something that Michigan. It's going to be a benefit to Michigan. In general. It's an attraction. It's beautiful, and the way they're doing it is different. So I was always in tune with the project. That was the biggest thing for me. We were in tune with it. You called me when I was at work, and he was just like, "Hey, you at the shop?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he came down to my other building at Emerald Park over there, and when he came in and we started talking about it, that's when he broke the news to me. At first we were talking, everything was fine, and then that's when he told me that Brian was diagnosed with, pancreatic cancer, and that's when it was just I was just listening. It got real quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When he told me that, it was like, that's like that curveball you're not expecting, right? It got So the conversation, I'll cut to the chase where it deviated into like, what do you think we can do to help keep the ball moving for the aquarium? And that's where this all came to life, because through that I didn't give an answer right away. I didn't even know where to start, to be honest with you, because you're talking about two different things. You're talking about something that's like a family-friendly attraction, right? An aquarium, and then you're looking at me and I'm cannabis, right? I'm weed.
Yeah.
There's two different stigmas at the end of the day. So it's like you got this group over here is family-friendly. You got this group over here has this like shade of gray on top of it.
Yeah.
So that's when we turned around, and I'll never forget it. I went out to dinner that night, and I was super quiet, and I thought about it that night because I never really had a brand. I white labeled for a lot of different companies.
Yeah,
I was the wholesale bulk guy at the end of the day. I never had a brand, and that's when I decided, and obviously through everybody's approval, it was like the next day I called them Steve, and I was like, I got an option here. If you want, we can turn around and we can start a brand and donate the proceeds back or a portion of the proceeds back to the aquarium to help expedite it. And it wasn't just a money thing. realistically, it was more about the exposure and, you know, how many people can we target and get back to the aquarium and vice versa, because they're both giants in themselves, you know? So it's like, how can this benefit each other? And that's when I brought the idea up, and then that's when Steve took it to Brian, and that's how it all came to life.
Me and Steve talked about, since we met, about doing a brand together, which would have happened regardless, and this kind of expedited it, and it just gave it a purpose, way bigger purpose than just another brand. That's the Legacy Farms is definitely not just another brand. You know, we're bringing something to the table. It's just never been done, and so we kind of just we think alike, and we get along really well, and that's when it kind of like, this all makes sense now. Let's just do this, you know, instead of waiting and waiting. Let's just take this opportunity. You know, it's a shitty situation, you know, so how do we just make the best of it, and that's where really.
That was one of the biggest things, you know, coming from the weed industry.
Yeah.
And you know it, in the store, you walk in, there's 900 brands. You know, everybody came to the market, you know, let me buy a cheap bow, take it and put it in a pack, spruce up the pack, make it look all colorful and beautiful, stick it on the wall. You know what I mean? And go out and market. And we know the companies out there that are the marketing giants, I like to call them. When we came up with this brand, what the beauty about it was, and we always said this, if we were going to come to the market with a brand, it had to mean something.
Yeah.
And although it's a bittersweet moment because, and I said this before and I'll say it again, like, you know, I think if you ask both of us today, not I think, I know, we'd both rather have Brian here today, you know? Yeah, this is the last. This was, yeah, you know, it was one of those situations where we're seeing the success of the brand, and we're seeing it, you know, a lot of people are resonating with the story. It's a powerful story, right? And we're getting a lot of support from it, and a lot of people are talking about it, and we, you know, that's the beauty about it, you know, and that is truly like the legacy, right? And it's like we're spreading his name is still being spoken about today, whether it's from our side of things, whether it's the aquarium, whether it's the reptarium, you know, his name is still out there and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, 1,000%.
So that's like truly how the origin all came to place, and here we are today.
Nice. So. And then Jay, how did you get involved with the company? When did you kind of cross paths with Steve?
So it's like crazy. So when I started working at the Reptarium, like Steve Bashi was a name. He was like a ghost almost. Like we said his name, but like I never really like knew who he was. You know, it wasn't until like just like the last couple of years that he really started coming around, and then like really getting to know who he was. But one thing I'll tell you about Brian is like, I love him, but that motherfucker had a lot of ideas. Yeah. He always had plans. He's always had inventions. He's always, so like we opened up Reptarium, like what we called 1.0, which was just 2 aisles. And I mean, we had literally been open not even a year. And then he was talking about Reptarium 2.0. Then next thing you know, Reptarium 2.0 is open, and then COVID hits. And like basically during COVID, Brian's like, yeah, I think we're gonna build an aquarium. And we're like, we haven't even opened up the other place, you know, barely. And then it was just like, the next thing you know, he's like, yep. He's like, I partner with Steve Bashi. We're doing it. We're rolling. And once Brian says like something's going to happen, you know, it's going to happen. So then obviously, you know, Bashi started coming around because we knew like, all right, this is serious. And then kind of, you know, just like what they said, like right around when Brian got diagnosed, that was like his time that he knew like, hey, I really have to get the ball rolling with a lot more things. So that's right when Kado came in the picture, and I mean, here we are today.
Nice, that's what's up. And that story is, like you said, the story is incredible. I remember hearing about Brian when I was still in Lake Orion at that point. Yeah. And, you know, hearing about that story, you know, shout out Khalil. He works with us over at Live, and he knew Brian. And so just hearing about it, and then hearing about the brand coming online like a little bit about a year after that. And then now, like I said, sitting here today, it's just dope to see the growth. It's an unfortunate situation, you know, and, you know, I'm sure he's proud of what y'all are.
Yeah, I mean, Brian's, he's a legend, you know, in the reptile industry, in the animal industry. He's just a legend. He's just a great guy, and he built up. He always just did the craziest stuff. You know, he took the chances. You know, he wasn't afraid to get burnt. You know what I mean? You know, that type of thing. He wasn't afraid to make mistakes, and he was just always willing to do what a lot of other people wouldn't do, and that's why he got so huge. But super intelligent guy too, super nice guy, just an amazing man. I mean, I miss him every day. One of my best friends ever. we got memories for a million years. But it's just he's just a legend when he was here, and he's going to be a bigger legend when he's gone, unfortunately. You know.
I think that was the common denominator. And when he said it, it was like, you know, he was crazy in his own way. Like, he did the things that people wouldn't do, and us three we're all that way in our own industry. Because you know, I was called crazy plenty of times, and here we are today, right?
Exactly.
He was called crazy. I mean, that's the thing that I think separates us from a lot of different people, is that we were willing to take the chances that a lot of people wouldn't take. And it made us who we are today. And I think that was the big common denominator that we all had. That's why we get along.
We have that same vision. There's no such thing as too much or too crazy or out of hand. Like, you know, everything's extreme. You know, I think if it's not extreme, nobody pays attention anymore. Yep. You got to punch somebody in the face.
We gonna talk about the shot?
We can. There's two stories though.
Yeah, which story do you want?
I'm gonna tell you the story for real. The truth is, I was wrestling a bull shark. It was like a 20-foot bull shark.
This is not the true story.
Okay. It's not? Okay, it's my story. And the fin just got me good, but I killed that shark. No, so the real story is I'm a drummer, death metal drummer, and the stick flew out of my hand and smacked me in the eye.
I think he should stick to the shark story.
Yeah. So take either one, you know, but.
That's crazy. All right, so y'all are a double-edged sword with Legacy. The Reptarium, the aquariums, the cannabis brand. So feel free to, you know, take the Reptarium parts of the questions and y'all can answer the cannabis parts, you know, or mix it up however you want. So starting with the Reptarium, what is your favorite thing about that industry, and then what's your least favorite thing about that industry? I don't know much about the animal. I wasn't holding no alligator. I would have did it today, but you didn't bring him with you. Yeah, like I said, I'd do it for the pod, but I'm not. He tried to get me to do it drunk at a party. I'm like, I'm straight.
So honestly, one of my favorite things, like just about being in the reptile education community in general, is just educating people, like taking someone that's like super scared or nervous, and then next thing I know, an hour later, they're holding like the biggest snake or the biggest alligator, you know, that we have. Kado's brother is actually like one of my favorite stories to tell, because he does not like snakes. He doesn't like it. We were at an event. Something happened, the sign fell, and I had a snake, and I didn't have a choice. I was just like, you have to hold it. And he literally was standing there like so scared, but now he holds everything. Like now he just
like a poor dude.
Yeah.
I remember that.
All does it.
Yeah, you know, so it's just it's like really rewarding, just like to be able to see people like work through problems and work through their fears. And then also, you know, something that Brian always taught us was like, if you can get people like to hold these animals and be able to touch them and interact with them, like they will naturally start to love them, and then they will naturally just like want to protect them and want to keep them alive. Like we can only have all these animals if all of us like band together and literally protect them. Like, so it's just one of the amazing things that we can work through with education. One of the things that's like hard about the industry though is just not taking everything home. Like I just want to have all this stuff at my house 24/7. So it's hard. You like fall in love with them. So even like when we were just gone for a week in Florida, like I miss all of the animals like back at work, you know, just not being able to see them and stuff like that. So.
And then when it comes to the cannabis side of things, what's your favorite thing about the industry, least favorite thing about the industry?
I love everything about the industry. I mean, I'm a firm believer, if you love what you do, the money follows. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people got involved in the industry because they wanted to follow the money. And the money is a lot faster, let me tell you. So if you don't truly love the plant for what it is, you're not going to take it to the next level, you know. And the unfortunate thing that took place in Michigan was, you know, Michigan, when they went, so it started on a medical program, right? That's what it was. And the reality was everybody understood it for it to be medicine. So when Michigan went rec, it just became a saturation of weed, and the corporate companies started getting involved in it, right? And, you know, never good. Anything corporate is just horrible. So there was a lot of my friends that I knew in the industry that like they fell to the wayside. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep up anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the part that was shitty about seeing what happened, you know, from the transition. I call it wasted talent. There was a lot of people that had a lot of, you know, knowledge, and they were great in the industry. They just couldn't keep up because of what happened on the corporate side of things.
Yeah.
So The crazy part though is that today we're still coming from the black market and being able to take what we learned there and transition it to the stateside and be able to grow that on a level that we did. I love it. I mean, that's the part where like a lot of people are like, oh, it's tough, it's saturated, it's this, it's that. Well, that's only for select few. There's a big portion of the industry that's in that dilemma right now because, I mean, they just, again, corporate weed is corporate weed. I don't know how else to put it other than that. So.
I feel you there. I think I agree and disagree in the sense of like corporate structure. I think is important. Like for Live, like we try to keep it still very family friendly. We try to do things, the right way and make people feel home when you come there. Because some places you do feel like you're just walking into an Apple store or Walmart. Yeah, exactly. So we try to make it feel more homey and make the experience like a lot better for our guests. But then that structure that the corporate world brought us to, with having so many stores and scaling at the size and at the speed that we did, is man, like you said about Brian, like go, go, go. When Dennis says go, you feel me? It's happening. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So it gave us that freedom and and that structure that we needed. So, but I definitely
the
feel
corporate structure is great. I'm not knocking at its door, but it's like if I go to your industry, right, or the reptarium, let me pull a UPS driver and let him go handle animals tomorrow, and that's one of the big things that I say is like the corporate structure did a great job of bringing structure, but unfortunately, the talent went to the wayside, and then there was a lot of mids and just bad weed that's grown in the market. And
you can still have corporate structure,
yeah,
but not the corporate,
Yeah, not that mindset. Yeah, I get what you mean.
You can collab both and do it right. Just doesn't happen often.
For sure. Got you. So if y'all could do something different in the industry, we talked about how the industry is. It's went corporate. It's kicked a lot of people out. But, we've had some good and a lot of bad. If you could do something different in the industry, obviously other than what y'all are bringing to it, what would you do like when it comes to the market?
Consumer education.
Okay.
That'd probably be the biggest one.
Yeah.
Dispensaries did a good job of driving price point, not quality, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. This is coming from a cultivator. You know what I mean? I'm not a retail guy by any means. I'm a cultivator at heart. So the biggest thing that I think we would do is drive consumer education, because the problem is nobody really knows what they're purchasing.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to break the news, but $1.50 pre-roll is not exactly quality bud.
Exactly. It definitely takes for your bud tender to do their job. Correct. And not all the bud tenders are doing their job. Correct. I agree with you 100% there.
So if there's anything that I can do differently, because look, I tell everybody this: if you got a nug on your tree, you're growing weed. I mean, you're doing it. So how you market it and what people are doing, and a lot of people are trying a million different things to get it out there, but I'm just a firm believer that let the quality of the bud speak for itself. But if there's anything I could do differently in the market, is getting out there and really educating people on what they're really getting. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. Yeah.
Bad, good, and great. Exactly.
Yeah.
Is a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
Right? And most people, you said, they don't know shit.
All they want is what's the highest THC. And I'm like, when you hear that question, the cheapest and the highest THC, those are the two selling points that 90% of your consumers are asking for. And it's crazy. I hate that question, to be honest with you.
Michigan,
I actually hate
like
that
I said,
question.
they did a good job driving price. They did a good job driving price, and they did a good job of driving this THC-driven market.
Yeah.
The higher the THC, the the more you're gonna feel it. But that's not. If anybody knows weed, that's not the truth, right?
It's not.
So
it sucks too as a retailer. As a retailer, though, you have to give people what they're looking for because the customer's always right. But then, as somebody who's like myself, I'm a connoisseur, and I just know that that's not what you're looking for. When you're looking for what high you need. You got to educate yourself on the terpenes, educate yourself on just the different things like CBD and shit like that can do for you. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Everybody, I've had people come in straight up like, yo, this just nothing you guys have gets me high. I'm like, you're smoking the wrong shit then. Something in here is gonna get you high. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Or you need to smoke some wax or upgrade to something different. Upgrade to something different.
It's always like that in any industry, like that 10% of elitists.
Yeah.
That really know their shit, like Kado and yourself. Like they really know what they want. They get it, and then there's the 80% or 90% that's still left. Obviously, that listen to everybody else and just repeat
exactly.
themselves, and they really don't know shit about anything, and that's the market. Unfortunately, they're not educated.
There's a lot of brands out there. I won't name names because everybody knows who they are. I don't have to say the names, but they're marketing giants, right? I mean, they do a good job of making it look amazing. Smells like, some of these infused pre-rolls, some of these it's just like, God bless them, but man, it's like, I don't think the consumer knows what the heck they're getting at the end of the day. It's a 49% infused with artificial terps, product that they're getting. And, it's like, that's what the market did a good job of driving. And, if you look at the 900 brands on the wall, I don't see one brand out there really educating people on what's in their bag the right way. I don't see that. And it starts with the bud tenders at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, it's not just a dispensary thing, too. Like, a lot of the brands that came out to market, it does come from the brand itself, too. Like, getting out to the door, educating the bud tender, sending some of our team out there just to help them understand what's truly going in the bag.
1,000%.
That's a big deal right there, too. So it doesn't just stop the minute you make a sale in the door. That's step one. To get it to the finish line, so that way we're getting reorders and more people are understanding it. It takes a team on our end to be able to come out, educate everybody, and let them know what they're really getting.
100%.
And then listen, everybody grows fire, right? The second best
not
grower.
Right.
Well, here's the thing: when you sit with them, the second best grower doesn't exist, right? It's like finding a fucking Yeti out there. You're not gonna find them. You know what I mean? So
marketing could be great and it could be evil as well. Because we've always said if you got the right marketing, you can have a turd. Literally a piece of shit, and millions of people will buy it. You can have the best product in the world, and if you don't know how to market, you're not selling shit. Nobody knows about your stuff. There's a lot of that, and there's a lot of turds out there. People smoking them.
Man. Yeah, it's crazy. And like you said, there's 900 brands. You can get it from anybody, but when you have the 10% where people who you want to smoke quality and you know what quality smells, looks, tastes like, you're not gonna just smoke anything. Like me, I don't even hit everybody's weed. I got my own. You good? I'm good. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you very much. So I definitely feel you, man, and I love what y'all are bringing to the table. Like even from the weed's always been good, but from what I tried a year ago to what I tried just at the party a couple weeks ago, it's miles, in quality difference, and it's always been good, but it's getting a lot better too. So y'all are definitely doing something right. So when we talk about quality, and don't worry, Jay, I forget about you. We got an aquarium question coming. When they talk about quality, I know y'all got a lot of partnerships coming up in different things y'all are working on with product SKUs and shit like that. So let's talk about something like that. What do y'all got going on as far as your quality and your different collaborations going on with the flower?
Yeah. So as far as collabs go, we're working with a lot of people. One of the biggest ones we got coming up, which is going to open up a lot of SKUs, is Unrivaled Solventless, and that's going to be our solventless line right there, and it's going to be single source, right? So John's a dear friend and. He came to market. He was he comes from the black market too, right?
I should have brought mine. It's in the car.
Yeah, so he turns around and he produces a badass product. But what's beautiful is that, a lot of people went up to him to try to get him to come to market. And unfortunately, though, he's a quality-driven guy, just like we were quality-driven on the flower side of things.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest problems that he had, and, he'll be on a show soon enough, but is that his starting product begins with our finished product, technically speaking. And everybody that he vetted, he didn't trust that concept of taking their flower and turning it into something good. So he never really got involved on the state side for that reason. But once we sat down and he saw what we were doing, he was real impressed, and he was stoked about jumping on board and making it happen. So just that one side of it is going to be able to open up donuts, bubble hash infused, the actual stuff, rosin pens, rosin. There's a lot of different things that it's going to open up the door for that we're going to be able to get into. But that's one of the biggest collabs that we have there. As far as the other collabs that we've been working on, so one of my dear friends, Gabriel Farms, out in Washington, and he's a monster in the industry. The guy's he's an old school guy, and his morals about the industry is why we connected so well. And we all know the same people, so we're gonna be collabing with him. We're gonna have his genetics down here, and we're gonna get him out to market down here in Michigan as well. It's gonna be right under the Legacy umbrella. And another big one that we worked on too was Darren McCarty. He was in a he was a big red. Yeah, he was in a bad position with the pre-existing company that he was with, and a while. Yeah, it was close to 8-9 months. But the fortunate thing is that he's now out of that, and now he's under the Legacy family as well. And I'm stoked to have him on board because, again, if you go back to what our roots are about the brand, it has such a strong story. We're not just collabing with anybody. This is not like just find a company and collab with them. That's not what we're trying to do. Exactly.
It's not about the money. The money is the last thing we worry about. We know that's easy shit.
I feel you.
It's just always the way we thought. So if we're gonna do something, we're gonna do it different. We're gonna do it huge, and nothing's gonna cut into that. We're not gonna step out of our lane. We're gonna go against the grain. And we're gonna prove stuff that's never been done before. Kado's been an insane, collabing with guys like-minded. Yeah, it's a huge deal. It's a big thing.
We've said no a million times.
Oh yeah. That's we've had a lot of people sit at the table trying to collab, and it's a hard thing telling some of these people no, but the truth is just, it has to fit the model, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's got to make sense.
It's got to make sense, and it has to mean something. It can't just be something that's like, oh yeah, I got a name and let's drop some bud in it. Your names don't sell weed. It doesn't sell product at the end of the day, but stories, people can resonate with that.
A lot of those too, a lot of them are short-term minded people. We're in it for the long, long run. This is our first brand, and I'm sure we're gonna open up other brands. So we've already talked about that, but so we always just think long-term. So if you don't align with that, then we don't want to even kind of bring you in that group. I got you.
Okay, I love it, man. Well, God bless y'all for fucking with the Loft 313. Glad we bring some value to the table, rocking with us. So on the aquarium and reptarium side, what is some as I know y'all are working on the new facility and things like that, what other things do y'all got up your sleeve that you could talk about? What kind of collaborations are y'all working on?
Honestly,
Jay, when is it going to open?
I keep saying, when are we going to open? You know what? I've got the perfect person here to talk about that. When are we going to open?
I know exactly when it's going to open. The answer is, I don't know when it's going to open. I wish I could say, because
You do have one open now, though, that people can go to. Shout that out real quick.
Yeah, so Van Dyke, right at Van Dyke and Hall, we have the Reptarium. You can go buy your tickets online. We're open Thursday through Sunday evenings. Come have a good time. It's honestly for all ages, all the way down to babies to any age. If you love snakes, if you've never seen a snake, we tell everyone to come and you will have a good time. We have a lot more than just reptiles too.
A lot more than
sloths and capybaras, big tortoises. We have a two-headed snake, a two-headed turtle, big alligators you can hold and feed. So it's a good time.
Very hands-on. It's an experience. It's not just. Again, Brian was the master of creating something that's never been done before, and that's why it's so successful. And we're doing the same thing at the Legacy Aquarium. You can literally dive with stingrays. Where can you go in Michigan where you can put a suit on and dive in stingrays in December?
Didn't that stingray kill my boy off the?
Next question.
See, I'm the type of nigga. You ain't put me nowhere with no damn stingray. No, that's what's up though. Yeah, I haven't been out there, so I got to definitely come check it out. For sure, that shit gonna be dope. So when that is open, what is that going to? So I can change the question. What is that going to do for y'all? Like with the new facility, what is that opening up for the company and for the brand?
It's gonna open up doors that we never even thought about, to be honest.
It's a monster.
And I can really only say that because I can see the doors at just our little 5,000 square foot. Like, that place has opened up so many doors. So now, 30,000 square feet, so many different names. We have new partners. Like, it's literally going to be a monster. And, we're doing it for the people. We're doing it for the city. We're doing it in Brian's legacy. Like, we have a lot of people that are standing with us with this project. So.
Word. That's what's up, man. Like I said, I've always resonated with y'all's story and what y'all got going on, and I love it from both ends. And pause, that was crazy, but love what y'all got going on, man. So we're gonna keep on moving through these questions too. So, what are your goals? I know you said you always thinking long term. What is the long term goal for Legacy Cannabis? Where do you want to take it? Like, what's the deal there?
Legacy Cannabis local.
A lot of that is obviously going to be legal based stuff. So we don't know a lot of, where's the industry going to go? That's going to kind of hold us or explode us. So I think that's an undetermined factor, what we got to think about. But
The nice thing is, though, is we do have a footprint in other states. So, getting it to become an MSO brand, it's not going to be difficult to do that at all. We have a presence in Arizona. We have a presence in other states that we could definitely launch in and get the ball moving. And because it's federally illegal right now still, it's a little bit, that question is like, but what's the end goal? I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's, we're not going to stop growing. Yeah. That's
okay.
We'll definitely, we're gonna hit the market. We're hitting the market the right way. Slow and steady wins the race. We're not looking to be in, there's hundreds of dispensaries in Michigan. And, the reality is we want to be in the right ones. We're not looking to be in all of them. We're looking to be in the right ones. The ones that believe in what we believe in. Going hand in hand with the aquarium opening up. I mean, that's such a draw, not just for the city, but in general. It's an attraction to Michigan.
100%.
I mean, that's going to be a tourist attraction. And so weed it reminds me a lot of alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that's becoming way more accepting. So, the beauty about it is that, like, all of those people coming in that now love the aquarium will also have the ability to be able to go and support the brand. So it's a dual combo.
feeling dirty or in the dark,
Yeah,
It's just way more acceptable
yeah,
now.
yeah, so-
Everybody's out of the closet by now.
Exactly.
It's only going to get better.
Yeah.
So,
Honestly, I just want to say one thing. It's crazy, like, sitting here with both of them. Sitting here with, like, somebody who, like, basically grew up with Brian, and then also sitting here with someone who, like, unfortunately didn't get that much time with Brian. Like, and I never, I've gotten the opportunity to sit in the room with both of them and Brian. I've never gotten the opportunity to sit in the room with all of them together. And right now, listening to them talk, it literally sounds like Brian is sitting here right now. Like, he literally is. They are all completely on the same page. And something that they said that I've heard Brian say numerous times about the aquarium was he was never looking to build the biggest aquarium. There was so many people that were like, you guys should get this building or go here, go there. He didn't care about that. He just wanted to be the best at what we were doing. He just wanted to be the best. Didn't need to be
Like a
the biggest,
once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to remember. You're not going to remember the biggest. You're going to remember those little moments. And the Legacy Aquarium is going to have many of those moments for millions of people forever.
We have people right now that come to the Reptarium that come weekend after weekend after weekend for, like, we have people that have been coming for 5-6 years every weekend to do the same experiences that they did every weekend. And, like, to me, that just shows
Die hards is what we call them.
Yeah, right. But that also shows us we're doing something right.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. That's what's up, man. Would have loved to meet him, man. He sounds like a great guy, and I know he looking down, loving what y'all are doing. So let's talk about the difference in what y'all are doing and other people. What is it that makes Legacy? Let's start with the cannabis side. What is it that, other than the reptile, that makes y'all special? What are y'all doing to guarantee your quality, to make sure that you're always putting out a good product?
QC control is everything for me. So, listen, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you we have not had a bad harvest, right? If anybody sat here today and said, as a cultivator, they've always grown the best weed, that's a lie. There's so many curveballs in the cannabis space when you're growing weed. You never know. One day your heater can give out, or your AC can give out, something is always happening, right? Power goes out. So, so we, as far as QC control, that's everything for us. So, and that's one of the biggest things that, for me, constantly changing genetics, growing great quality bud, and then QCing it at the very end, meaning like making sure that it's everything that we want. I don't machine trim. You're never going to find, that's one thing. As far as a pre-roll goes, I won't put trim in the pre-roll. I can't.
Yeah.
It's to me, it has to be flour. That whole trim infused garbage, I can't do it at the end of the day.
Crazy.
So, how do we handle that is pretty much, from start to finish, there's so much love that goes into that plant. And the team, majority of my team came from my caregiver market.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're talking, these are people that have been with me for years. And they all know what it takes to produce a badass quality bud. And that's what it's all about. So when we finish, we hand trim everything, we dissect it, we go through it, and that's what's going in our bags. We make sure that that's the product that we want to put out to the customer. If I smoke my own product, so it's like, it's if I can't smoke it, I don't want the consumer smoking it.
Yeah.
So that's the way we sort of that's pretty much how we handle it. But it's beautiful because again, everybody that's on the squad came from that old market, and they all understand the dynamic of what quality control truly means. It's not just an automation system where it's like, grow this bud, machine it out, and then throw it in packs and try to upcharge it to the customer. That's not the thing. And one of the biggest things too is we hit the market at a very fair price. I mean, I think you can attest to that.
For sure.
We didn't come in as that brand that said we wanted this much per eighth or this much per pre-roll. We came in and we said we want to produce a badass quality product and make it affordable to the consumer. Have it be top shelf but affordable to the consumer. And I think that's what's driving this brand to make it what it is.
Okay. What's some of your favorite products that you guys are producing right now?
As far as strains?
Strains, whatever.
I mean, we have a sherbet cream pie that's...
I've tried the sherbet cream pie. That shit is crazy.
I'm a terp guy, so I go for the highest terps. But we got a sherbet cream pie that's next level. We got an egg roll that's next level.
I haven't tried egg roll.
Our Dante's Inferno is it's the real deal. We have a trophy wife right now that's been hot for everybody. Everybody's been loving that one. So but we've like I said, but we've also grown strains that they didn't do shit, And we had to wing it out of the equation and keep moving on. But yeah, there's so many winners right now that we have in the Rolodeck of strains that we're working with. It's next level. And we got an in-house genetics guy that's constantly crossing and making sure we have newer strains, and every so often we bring some new ones and take out some old ones, and
I got you.
Try to keep it all flavorful for everybody.
So
yeah.
The great thing about Kado is it's all the details. He's a details guy like I am. That's why we get along. And consistency, I think, with the strains is details equal consistency. When somebody smokes one month and 6 months later they smoke it again, it's exactly the same.
It needs to be the same.
Exactly the same. So,
shit, I'll put my 6-month-old product against half the product in these stores right now, and I guarantee you it still smokes better. So,
do you consume too, Steve?
I do not.
You don't? Okay. Honestly, I'm like, that's actually becoming the norm, I feel like, where you're bringing in these beautiful minds from all over that don't necessarily indulge in the plant, but you understand how it benefits the world and what you,
Growing marijuana is very similar to growing coral. We have obviously on the other side of that wall, we have a coral farm basically. So I understand all of it, which is the science of it, the growth of it, the cutting it. It's all very similar. So that's similar. But no, I don't consume same nutrients. Same. Just different variations of it.
So when it comes to the reptarium side, what's like the craziest attraction at the reptarium right now?
I think that's really just person dependent, to be honest, because
what are the ones that get the most reaction? Give me top 3.
All right, top 3. I would say, I mean, the sloth is cool, but I think number 1, people go crazy about the 2-headed snake. Like,
that sounds crazy.
And then ridiculous. I would definitely say probably the sloth, and then.
Is that like a defect or something? Is it? What?
So it's not necessarily like a defect. What happened is it's like in an egg there was supposed to be twin snakes, and then everything fused together except for the heads.
Okay. Even the heads get fed individually.
Yeah, like
but there's one stomach.
Yeah. That's crazy.
There's 2-headed turtle.
Yeah, there's all sorts of crazy stuff.
We're looking for 2-headed people to work there, but not even one officially. So if you're out there, you got 2
for you. I got a job for you.
We're all gonna pay one of you though.
Y'all gotta share the salary. That's crazy.
We have a lot of very rare stuff though. Like we have a albino Nile monitor. That's the only one in the world. We have a melanistic alligator where there's only less than 15 of those in the world. So we have a lot of just very rare stuff. So we have something for everyone. And the amazing thing is kind of just like what Kado was saying. With the cannabis is you can go to, I won't name, but you can go to any other zoo anywhere else and pay all this money. You don't get to hold shit. You barely get to see shit. You definitely don't get any experience. You come to the reptarium, you can pay $14.99, and you're holding and being around animals that like you would never be able to ever in your life.
Yeah. That's
something that Brian always talked about, was always keeping the price at a point where like anyone can go. We don't want it to have to be like some day trip that a family had to save up for and all this other stuff. It's not.
And we're doing the same thing with the aquarium. It's going to be super cheap to get in. Half the price is what it could be, but it's not about that. Just make sure everybody can have the experience and keep them coming back. And every person who goes there is going to tell 10 other people. So it's a good strategy financially as well. But also, you just want everybody to experience it, because it's so different. So it changes people's lives sometimes. I believe it's crazy.
Hell yeah. Well, man, it has been a blessing sitting here talking with y'all. We've went through a couple sessions. I feel like y'all have answered a lot of my questions. Is there anything else y'all want to shout out or talk about? Anything y'all got going on or coming up that you want to shout out at this moment?
Maybe on the next one.
Yeah, we could hold off. I know y'all got some shit up your sleeve.
We have a lot of stuff up our sleeve right now. We briefly talked about some of them, but there's a lot up our sleeve right now.
So we'll come back when shit comes to fruition. But hey, man, well, I appreciate y'all a lot. Next time y'all see us, I'll probably have like a fucking alligator in my hand or something crazy like that. But shout out Jay, Steve, Legacy Aquarium, Legacy Reptarium, Legacy Cannabis. I'm your host, Felix the Don, aka Top 2 and Not 2. This is the Loft 313. And we are out. What up to everybody? Welcome back to the Loft Studios with their song Seger from the album Lost People. We got Ethan Marc and Mike Seger. Let's get it.
Middle of the night I call. Never been this high, I fall. Give me just one more option. You give me just one more reason to keep going. Now the ceiling's beneath me, I'm buried beneath deep. My eyes won't deceive me. You want me to believe in something spiritual. It's been 3 weeks and I ain't heard from you. Take your anger and throw it out the window. He is your savior, but he's only let me down. He's only let me down. Take your anger and throw it out the window. He is your savior, but he's only let me down. He's only let me down. Same spot. They try to brainwash us to pray and thank God, but I ain't never heard nothing bad. I tried not to let you down, and I tried to kill all of my sins. God, I'm pleading once again, I'm pleading once again. Take your anger, throw it out the window. He is your savior, but he's only let me down. He's only let me down. Take your anger. only let me down. He's only let me